Welcome to the Sunday Sit Down Series. I'm Eddie Ramos, and today we are joined by professional boxer out of East Hartford, Connecticut, Anthony Laureano. Anthony, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
So, Anthony, you're joined today by your manager, Nate Torres. We might hear from him a little later on.
Go
There's
ahead.
Nate, and as well as your other trainer, Angel Gonzalez, and we'll hear from him later on in the interview. How
Of
you doing
course.
there? So, Anthony, we'll start off today as we're gonna share your story inside and outside of the ring. Where were you born, and talk to us about your upbringing.
Uh, I was born in East Hartford, Connecticut, um, and I was it was tough, man. I'm one. I was seven, so I have five sisters and one brother, and my parents didn't have much, and it was tough, man. I like you know went through stuff, and sometimes we it was tough, but boxing really helped me out, like more mentally. It helped me get more confidence. Um, and it's just been a blessing to have the sport because it was like my scapegoat from home. You know, and I'm just blessed to be just talking to you and having this opportunity. At first, my parents, both my parents, they didn't want me in the sport because they see me lose a lot in the amateurs. 10 to back losses. I mean, I think anybody would quit, but I think when I hit that moment that I was about to quit, I asked God, and God blessed me. I mean, tremendously. He gave me a new trainer. He started changing my whole everything that I was doing. I got Angel Gonzalez, that's my trainer right now, and and then I got Nate Torres, but that was all through God. I mean, every loss, I cried, man. Yeah, I was at a young age, I was young, and my mother was looking for the she was she wanted the best for me, and she told me, she was like, all you do is lose. Why are you fighting? But it hurt me, man. I went that same day, man. I went upstairs and started crying, but I also started praying. I started praying even more, and I told God, I'm like, God, if this is what you want me to do, you know, help me out. And if this is not what you want me to do, just knock me out, and I'll be done. But I mean, that was when in my amateur career, and now I'm a professional. And you already know my accolades, but and I'm just blessed. I'm just blessed, and I just really blessed.
That's amazing. So you grew up in a larger family. You've had
Yeah,
many steps within your career where people have come along the way, helped you out. God has blessed you. You've had some bumps in the road early on. Talk to us about your
really.
first. Talk to us about your first experience in a boxing gym. How did you end up getting into the sport? What was your introduction to boxing?
So my my father used to sell cars. I mean, it's extra money, so flip cars and stuff. Um, and one of my trainers, I mean, my soon-to-be trainer, was buying a car from him, and his name was Tito Cordona, and he was I mean, world champion at one point in his career. He was a big name in Hartford, and he really just like kind of put his wing over me, and to this day he still does put a wing over me. I mean, but at that point, he was, he boxing was expensive. Every sport was expensive, and my parents couldn't afford it. So he would bring me place to place for free. He would just like, hey, I have a gym over here. You want to come? I was like, okay. And then the other gym, okay. And but it went to a point that he couldn't train me no more, and he showed me a different trainer, and then that's how it started. So it was again, God does miracles, and and he showed me that person, and still today I still have the same relationship, and he's just a great guy, and I want him to have good recognition.
For sure, for sure. So as you transition from learning the sport to start competing, excuse me, in the sport, talk to us about that transition.
Yeah. So like, so when I was learning sport, I was with Pito, and just getting kind of just getting the roundabout, just seeing what it introduced to the sport. Then he brought me to this other trainer that we train in the garage, and that's where I really became like every day I wanted just to spar. I didn't want to train. I just wanted to spar, and I used to come to the garage and I'm like, yo, I want to spar, and I would come to the garage riding bike back and forth, back and forth. I come to school, I do school, and then I'll go straight ride my bike to garage, ride my bike. I mean, I'm saying rain, snow, heat wave. I didn't care. I just wanted to. I wanted to fight, man. I love fighting. I love fighting, and it was really my output, to all the stress I was getting, and it made me who I am. It made me like very competitive. It made me a good. I mean, when I work, I'm a good employee. I'm a hard worker. And I had to honor roll, and I had all that stuff. But I was just doing it because I mean, boxing gave me that. That confidence that I needed.
That's truly awesome, and that's what it does. It builds a lot of character, as we know, and as you're now a professional, um, you learned all these lessons. You had a tough upbringing, and for many people that don't know, Connecticut has a large Puerto Rican population.
Yeah.
It's not between the snow and between the area. It's a tough place.
Yeah.
Me growing up in Western New York and growing up in New York in general, I can relate. So I give you a lot of credit for pursuing something that wasn't easy as well. Not only socially, you're going through things, and then you jump into the athletic side, and you take on another challenge. So
Yeah.
a lot of
Definitely.
kudos to you, man.
Yeah, definitely. And when I kept on going to the gym and stuff, they I didn't honestly I didn't even know there was amateur boxing. To be serious, I didn't even know there was an amateur. I thought you just went pro. I was younger at that time, so I was like, man, just shoot me pro. I want to turn pro. I told my trainers that, and they laughed because they didn't. They knew that there's an amateur, and I started that I had my first amateur fight, man, and my first amateur fight, man, I fought a kid that already had experience, a kid that his father was his trainer, and I lost my first fight in front of my father, and that was the hardest moment. I mean that's my start, and to lose in front of your father is tough, and but I think I gave the other guy payback after my career went by, but I'm gonna leave that alone. But I'm blessed, man. I'm just it was like that moment really hurt me, but also made me, and to lose in front of your father is really tough because I love my father. My father and my mother, they try so hard, they try so hard, and and it's not because it's just situations, a lot of situations. My father, he was not able to work because he had a part wrong with his leg, and my mother, and she wasn't so well, so she couldn't work either. And when you have a big family like that, it's hard. It's hard.
Definitely.
We went through a lot of stuff, man. But I mean, our love, man. My father showed me a lot of love. My mother showed me a lot of love, and that's how I can't stop smiling because God has been so good to me to have such good parents that really
Definitely.
loved me and gave me a big family. So I got a lot of love, man. A lot of love,
That's
man.
awesome. A lot of people, unfortunately take that for granted, and there's other
Yeah,
kids growing up that don't have that love. So I'm glad you took advantage of it in a positive manner.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so Anthony, who would you say as you transition through your amateur career? Like you said, you had some bumps in the road. Your mom started questioning, why are you in this sport? Um,
Yeah.
so how did you really talk to us about some of those experiences? Did you travel around the United States? Did you stay mostly in the Northeast region? Talk to us about your
I was.
amateur career a little.
Oh yeah. Oh, so my amateur career. Okay, the bumps. You know about the bumps and all that. It was good. My first trainer, he had a lot of confidence in me, but uh, I I had a transition to, I really was at that point that I needed somebody new, and I needed a new trainer and somebody that really gave me the work ethic that I really needed, and that's why I'm with Angel Gonzalez, and he's been there since the start, and it all comes back to like with him, my first fight with him, um, it was it was a good fight. I mean, that's was like I woke up in that fight, and that made me who I am today. And I thank him a lot, and he knows that I love him. But and it was that first fight he told me, and I think it was a close fight. It was a really close fight, and he told me in the second round, "What are you doing? You're not sparring like you're not fighting how you spar. When you spar, you try to kill, and now you're not doing nothing. What's wrong with you?" I I kind of got he doesn't talk. He doesn't talk too much. If he talks, I mean,
It's something
you
serious.
gotta listen because and he told me very sternly, and I I came back, and when I fought, I stopped the guy 2 times, and that's all she wrote. I won the fight, but that really changed my mindset, and it kind of woke me up when I was inside the ring, because I knew I had the potential, but I was never able to really perform, and now I can perform.
That's awesome. So shout out to your trainer, Angel Gonzalez. That's a great story. Anthony, talk to us about the transition now from amateur. You're gaining this confidence, your amateur career, you move into a professional career. What was that process like for you?
So with Angel Gonzalez, I obtained the Western Golden Gloves, which I didn't even know it was possible. Like I won the Western Golden Gloves. Then I went to New England and the New England Golden Gloves. And my first year there, I didn't feel like it belonged. I mean, I seen a lot of talented guys, and I was like, man, it was that sense of like I didn't have the confidence. And I was like, I don't belong here. I seen all these guys, and they have nice styles, and but the next year after I lost that year, I came back to the drawing board, and you know my we talked, me and Angel talked, and I regained my confidence, and I was like, you know what? I came just for one guy's head, honestly. I was like going for one guy's head only, and that was the guy that beat me in New England. And I was like, I won the Westerns again. I won the Westerns again. I beat a very tough competitor. He is now professional. He is undefeated, and I beat him. And a lot of people were doubting me. I mean, people came to the fight just to see me lose. I mean, I put it on Facebook, and people were like saying, "Oh, he's gonna get his head turned," and I mean, I I won, and he froze. He froze. I mean, I did what I had to do. I worked, and I won the Westerns, and then I went to New England. I was looking for that guy again. I was looking for the guy. The guy he didn't even make it, but
Wow.
in New England, I knocked both my guys down. Both my guys down. Won the New England, went to nationals, and I went to nationals, and I did really really good. And my first round in the nationals was a guy from Jersey, and that guy gave me a run for my money. I mean, he hit me one time, and I was like, seeing sorry, but
Wow.
I couldn't lose. I mean, I had that mindset that there's no way I can lose, and I won that fight, and I went on to fight the second in the nation.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, like if you tell anybody from the New England team, I had I had that fight, you know, but you know it came down to it. You know, they were saying his name and my corner color. I was like, you know, they played me. I got a sportsmanship award. I was like, you know what, it's all right. I got my scholarship out there actually. I got a scholarship out there, and yeah, you know, and I was finally like saying I was talking to Angel, and I was like, man, it's very time, man. I want to turn pro because I was told that if I don't make the nationals, don't even think about turning pro. So once I made it to the nationals, yeah, it was time to go pro. You know,
Right.
and then when I went, you know, I turned professional. You know,
That's awesome. And how old were you when you turned professional?
I was 21 years old. 21 years old, and I was at that time. I started working. You know, so I was doing school. I got my associates in criminal justice. I
That's
was
awesome.
going to school while I was being professional, while I was working at the school, while I was working at an auction too. So I was working as a MCC dispatch, and I was working as an auction clerk, and I was doing both those jobs while I was training for professional, and well, I'm going to school and you know trying to you know get my degree too, and it was a tough fight, man. It was my first fight. I mean, most guys get guys that they can knock out, you know, but
Right.
he was a guy from Philadelphia. Yeah, he had a good amateur record, and he was a Philadelphia Golden Glove champion. I mean, right now he's undefeated. He's undefeated after I beat him, but and he's a tough guy. And I mean, again, all glory to God, man. That fight, I just I just left it all there, man. I couldn't lose it because it was my first professional fight. My father was there too. My first professional, my
More
father
pressure.
was there, and that's a lot of pressure. But you know, all glory to God, man. I kept on pushing, and he was looking at the clock. I heard he was looking at. I didn't even know there was a clock. I was just going for the fence, man. You know, but you know,
That's awesome.
it came out good, and you know, a lot of people will recognize that fight because it shouldn't have had to happen. It was a debut versus debut.
Yeah.
He was a very talented guy. I was a very talented guy, and the judges even said it shouldn't have had happened. It should have happened like later on in
Later
our
on.
careers.
It's interesting.
But again, it's just another test, and you know, and am I supposed to be fighting? I showed the people. I mean, again, I had people there that were just looking for me to lose, but again, they didn't get what they wanted, and God is always good.
Yeah, I commend you for pushing through. I mean, that sounds like a very tough pro debut.
Yeah. Oh
Any Philly fighter, especially Golden Gloves champion like that out of Philadelphia, I can only imagine. I might have to go back and look at
yeah,
that. If it's on YouTube, I might have
yeah.
to check it out.
No,
Um,
it's not. It's I I don't know. It was not on YouTube. Oh, you fought. Okay, so okay, so the guy was huge. Okay, like I fight now at 140. I fought the guy at 147.
okay.
That guy was big. The guy was really tall, and you know
You know,
he had the power.
welterweights, they got a lot of power, right?
Yeah,
Even the
yeah,
140s, you guys got some pop.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Definitely,
But
definitely.
147, that's it's tough. But like you know, I plan, you know, for near future, we don't know where the weight's gonna go. But you know, as of right now, we're sticking to 140.
And I'll be honest with you, I'll just toss the name out here, Sergey Lipinets, who was at 140, moved up to
Yeah,
147. I've never heard a guy warm up in a locker room and hear a pop like that. And that guy was at 140 at the time. This was in Florida a few years back at a fight of
yeah,
his. And wow. So I know what you mean,
yeah,
definitely, man. And if you went in at 147, I can only
yeah,
imagine what you were up against, especially a Philadelphia fighter. So,
yeah.
Anthony, you're now 13-0 with 4 knockouts. As a professional, you've taken that first victory and you've gone on a run here. You've gone on a run here. What are some of your short-term goals and some of your long-term goals? If you want to, the two-part question there.
I mean, all these fights, man. All these fights it was, yeah. It's a run. It's a run, but all these fights, man, they were very tough, man. Like every fight had, something. It was my manager would say, it was a very calculated risk, but my manager wants me to become a complete fighter, and he doesn't want to be, there's guys that we know in the business that, they sell the light, they sell that they're good, great fighters, but they don't fight nobody. But we fought people, man. I can't even say my third fight, man. I was fighting. My manager didn't know this, but I was fighting pretty much like I thought I was gonna lose. You know, I was trained like an animal. And that fight, yeah, you gotta watch that fight. That's a really good fight. It's a Macau fight. Sydney Macau fight, man. That fight. That kid had a really good talent, really good fighter, and I'm telling you, I was training like, this is my last fight, man. But man, I didn't tell my trainers that until but I had confidence in, my team, that if they knew that I was gonna win, I'm gonna win. God before me, we prayed. We all prayed as a team, and we went into the fight, and man, we showed the crowd everything. And the guy that one of the guys, again, there's always people there that's wanting to lose, you to lose, and thinking you're gonna lose, but again, denied them. But going up, 13-0 now, and we still fighting battles. My long term goal is become world champion. I mean, who doesn't want that? But that's been my goal since day one. Like, since I was an amateur, But I mean, I think that's everybody's goal, and I know it's gonna happen because I put too much work into it. I'm a work mule. I'm ready. And as a short term goal, I'm hoping to get better, better, exposure, as you say, better exposure, better people that can handle me, better, and it just, I showed myself enough. I think I showed myself in my fights that I do deserve a little more exposure. And I appreciate you for giving me this interview, because this gives me exposure too, and I'm hoping to get a fight in Puerto Rico too. Man, I love, man. That was my first trip,
Okay.
over there, and it was the most beautiful thing ever, man. I felt like I was finally like comfortable with my skin, and like, over here in Connecticut, you I feel comfortable. They get along with me, but man, I felt like I belong. Like, oh, it was like, I was starting to be people with the Gabriel, man. Gabriel, I felt like I met him for
Your whole life.
like, yeah, my whole life I knew him.
Definitely. Yeah.
But those are that's the crowd I want, man. I want that crowd that,
A lot of positive energy.
and that's the Puerto Rican crowd, man. They give you that,
The support.
That you feel like they're your family. That love, man. That sincere love.
Definitely. So Anthony, as you chimed in here, for those that are watching, Anthony's going to talk about his experience at Team La Perla boxing gym. Truly, I saw a lot of the footage on Instagram, and your experience, it looked amazing, man. So talk to us about your love for the island and your love for the culture, and how that went for you.
And see, like, at first, my trainer told me, he was like, "You gonna love it. You're gonna go to the place. You're gonna know you from there. You're gonna smell the air." And I was like, it's nothing. Nah,
Right.
I'm not gonna feel that way. I was like, you bullshit. But I went over there. I took the flight. We took the flight. We drove around. I mean, we met this guy from this van. He was a taxi driver. The Uber didn't work at that time, but we had this taxi driver. Most koala person you meet, the most freaking dude you can meet, yo. And he drove us, and I was like, yeah, he was from and the thing, he was from Hartford. It was like God just placed it that way. That he was from Hartford. He knew where I was, like where I lived and everything.
Right.
And I was like, okay, it was nothing. And then you saw some nice places, and I was not paying attention to that. I came there to train. I came to work. So I went to La Bella.
Mhm.
La Bella, man. That's something. It's something beautiful over there, man. It's something it just that calls your attention. So I went over there. I heard stories about it and stuff, and I was like, you know what, God is with me. I don't care. And I went to over there, and my trainers were my manager was like, if we just came today, you don't have to train. You could just relax. Today could be just we could talk to people. I was like, nah, okay. But then Gabriel, the owner of Team La Bella, he was like, yo, if you really want to train, you got the gym right there. I was like, okay. And then we were just talking and talking, and he was like, and my manager was gonna go off a little bit, and we were gonna go somewhere else. And I was like, nah, I want to train though. I want to train. So all of a sudden, yeah, I'm trained. I went to the gym. The gym is right next to the water. I mean, it can't get better than this. Goes right next to the water. I get my stuff ready. I smell the air, smell the water. I started shadow boxing, and I was like, this is where I belong.
Yeah.
This is where there was no other way to explain it. I was like, man, this is home. I felt home at that. Like I felt like my my trainer was right. Like this is where I belong, man, in Puerto Rico, man.
That's
And
awesome.
that's where my blood is from, and that's why I felt this comfortableness when I was there.
Definitely.
And and then I did shadow boxing over there. I hit the bag, and my trainer, my manager Nate, he came back, and he was like, "Yo, this is where we came here for. Definitely, I'm gonna help you out." And we did pad work, and we talked to David. I don't you know David from La Bella,
Yeah.
and he was over there. He came over there, man. He came over there to see me do pad work. He was like, "Yo, you lucky to be here. You lucky." Yeah, you know how he is.
Yeah.
He's real, man. He's as real as they come, man.
Yeah. That's our buddy
And
David for sure.
and it was like, and he showed me love that I was not even from the island, but he told me, don't say you're not from the island. You from here. You belong here. Your blood is from here.
Right.
And he I told him my Spanish is bad. He was like, you better start trying. You better start trying. You know how he is, man.
Yeah. He's pretty
He's like,
direct.
he'll tell you straight up, yo, you better start speaking it because this is where he's from. You better have represent. And I was
Definitely.
like, man, I felt like, he was like a big brother to me right there. That like, he's trying to show me that, you gotta be proud where you come from. And you, yeah, it's just an island, but this is your home. This is your home. This is where the blood comes from.
I'm definitely glad you got to experience that and come to the boxing gym at Team La Perla. Follow us on Instagram.
I know, dude. It was all that. I'm telling you, it was. I experienced so much emotion while I was there, man. So much stuff, and it was just one day. It was just that first day, man. It
Definitely.
was just
That can be
very
almost
impactful.
almost overwhelming.
Yeah,
It's a lot. It's a lot, and I'm
yeah,
glad you got
dude,
to really get that experience, man. That bring a
dude,
sense
and
of pride.
having David there, he made me breathe in. He was like, breathe in through your nose because he's like, yo, he wanted me to be accustomed to that to that heat. So he was like, breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth. And he's like, you can do it. You can do it. Yo, he was like, yo, it was very impactful for me. It was
That's
like,
awesome.
but he's like even after he was just a big brother to me, big brother.
That's awesome. That's our friend David from Team La Perla. Shout out to David. Thank you so much for sharing your pride and your love for PR with Anthony. Like I said, at Team La Perla Boxing and MMA gym, we always have an open door. So we're so glad, Anthony, that you had a great experience. And Nate as well. If you want to talk to us about your relationship with your manager, Nate Torres.
He gets me. He gets me, man. He becomes my manager. But at first I had another manager before him. But this guy, Italian Italian guy, regular manager. He was a good guy, but he had a lot of fighters and stuff, and that's the one that got me that first fight. But then he got me another fight, and it just didn't make like I was. He was just trying to tell me to the dogs right there. But it happens, man. When
Yes,
you're
it
not,
does. You're
when they
not
don't
aware.
know where you come from. No, they when they don't know where you come from. Nate, he's Puerto Rican too, man.
He understood you.
That's how it is. They understand where you come from. They understand, who you are. Because I mean, it's cultural. They know all the culture, everything. Your culture is you. At the end of the day, your habits are obtained by your culture, and even what you eat, the way you talk is just
Right.
from your culture. So and having him be also Puerto Rican like me, he understood where I came from, and he knew that I was capable of more, and he believed in me.
That's awesome.
But and finally, I got Nate, and with him, man, it's like it's ride or die, man. It's like he's like he really believes in my vision, and I couldn't ask God for a better person to have on my team than Nate. And but Nate and Angel trained me both, and the thing with Nate and Angel, Nate has more of the he's very articulate on what he wants, very technical. Angel has that in some of his characteristics, but Nate is more. Angel is more of combinations, a lot of combinations. Gives you that. I mean, you don't give me no backup. Like I had a job before. It was in the factory, and he used to push me, man. Like really push me, and I get my work ethic from Angel, and my technique and all that. They both together. They've been helping me out.
That's awesome. So shout out to Angel Gonzalez and Nate Torres
Yeah.
for putting in the work with you and getting you to where you're at today, Anthony. And as we wrap up today, we'll talk about who is Anthony Laureano outside of the ring. What are some of your passions and interests?
Outside the ring, man. I always encourage education. Outside the ring. I got my associates. I wanted to get my bachelor's. Uh, I think education is key, man. I love school. I really do love school. And sometimes for the kids that are listening, you know, sports. Yeah, you got sports for a while, but that degree, nobody could take that knowledge from you. So that's why I always encourage education with the kids. And I work currently well I used to I worked for elementary school, so I work with kids, and it was amazing. It was an amazing experience, just helping them, helping them, and speaking with them, and just being a big influence because a lot of kids are missing that male role model that they really crave, and I was I'm blessed to be that role model. They look up to, and I again that's the schooling, my work. Uh, Now my religion, man. I'm Christian, and I always try to, encourage other people, that, with my story, I hope to impact them because, without God, I want to be nothing that I am now. I want to be nothing. At my sometimes you meet God at when you're the lowest, and that's where I met him. I met him at my lowest. I was losing fights, but God got me. God has me, man. I mean, 13-0, and you come from all that sacrifice, all that, you know, that that muck, and God cleaned you up, and God made me who I am today.
That's
And
awesome.
I really try to encourage that my religion on people because you gotta have something. When you have nothing, you have to have something. And God was always there for me, and that love is more impactful than anything. You can have friends and all that, but love for God, man, that never gives out.
That's a great message, a strong message, and making a difference in the community. And that's what we do at Team La Perla Boxing and MMA Gym. And we truly appreciate you sharing that message to everyone
Yeah.
watching today. We have a part of the Sunday Sit Down series we call the Fast Facts. Anthony, what is a place you haven't visited that you want to visit the most?
I went to Puerto Rico, so
You got that out of the way.
Yeah, that way. Um, I would have to say Greece, man.
Okay.
Greece.
That sounds
Yeah,
like a
and
good
I
one.
mean, like, wow, you see the warriors, man. You see the gladiators.
It's definitely unique. Definitely unique. And what would your favorite food be?
My favorite food. Can I say that, Nate? I like burgers, man. Burgers.
Okay.
It's simple. It's
Yeah.
not like traditional or anything, but
That's
what I
fine.
like
Nothing
to
like a
eat.
good burger, man. Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's
Who was your favorite fighter?
Turgati.
Okay.
Turgati, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Turgati, man. The Warriors, man. He really entertained the crowd, and he gave his heart out, man. Like that's why like I hope my I wanna you know some fights you see you're like he's alright, but that heart, that heart that I really aspire to be like that. Give me everything that I have and more because you give me everything I have right now.
Definitely.
And that's just I always want to give back to the crowd, and that's the same thing that Turgati did. He just fought his
Definitely.
heart out.
I had the privilege of interviewing his son, Arturo Gotti Jr., a couple months ago, and we'll give him a shout out. He's a friend of the team. He's good friends with John Pascal, who's also a friend of the team. And I get the
Yeah, I
chills. I
mean,
get the chills every time someone mentions Arturo Gotti. So that's
yeah, I
that's
know,
really
man,
cool, man.
definitely.
He's
But
definitely my top five favorite as well. So,
definitely.
and to and to wrap up our
Yeah,
fast facts, what's something most people don't know about you?
most people.
What most people wouldn't know about Anthony Laureano?
I don't
Tough
know.
question. You're pretty open book, so you probably don't have much to hide.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, we can roll with that.
Yeah.
Anthony, we truly appreciate your time joining us on the Sunday Sit Down series. Thank you, Angel Gonzalez, Nate Torres,